Okay, I want to talk about autoimmune diseases, primarily chronic hives or urticaria. I was diagnosed with that around March of well, I would say I was diagnosed with the autoimmune part of it in April 2009. March, I was diagnosed with having hives. If it goes longer than 6 weeks, it turns into chronic urticaria or hives, and that's autoimmune, from what I was told at the time. Now, it's not normally a life threatening issue, it's very uncomfortable, especially if you're breaking out and swelling and itchy. And that was me in the beginning. Mine because, I didn't get good information. I did get some good information from a dermatologist, but not my allergy doctor. Yes, I'd had allergies for many years, and off and on I would go get allergy tests and shots and take antihistamines and stop. So currently, at that time, I had been seeing an allergist for I don't know 6 or 7 years probably, but I was having all of a sudden really itchy, breaky out hives, and I never had that. So I think initially, and it hurt initially, and I wasn't sure what was going on. I went to like a general type nurse practitioner. Wasn't really a doctor, but um, I was like a practitioner at a doctor's office, and they thought I had hand, foot, mouth disease. And then um, I went with to my allergy doctor, and I told him I was taking Allegra, and he said, "Well, you don't have hives, uh, or you wouldn't be breaking out if you took Allegra." So then he recommended I go to a dermatologist, who told me, "Yes, you do have hives." And the day I went to the allergy doctor was simply I was hurting and breaking out, so I took Allegra, took a ibuprofen, and that's a no-no if you have ibuprofen is a no-no if you have chronic hives or just hives. Uh, Evidently, with hives, anything that increases your blood flow will break you out more. So you have to stay away from like Allegra D, Mucinex D, anything with the D in it. Um, will make your blood thinner, I guess, and flow more freely, and will break you out. I did not know that, but and I had been taking Allegra D initially because there was fluid behind my ears, and the doctor wanted me to take that to see if that would dry it up. But so that's what really I think spurned the first attack when they um, said I had Coxsackie. But so after I found out the chronic hives, it was I was trying to uh, see if it would go away because he said it might go away, but it didn't. And that dermatologist retired within that little period of time, 6 weeks. So he did recommend another one, and in a city it was a couple hours away. So that doctor really didn't help me. I couldn't get an appointment there till May, and in the meantime, I was talking to my allergy doctor, and he was trying me on some medicine that swelled me up and made my joints hurt. Um, I didn't know at the time that's because I had chronic hives, and when you take a medicine, you can have a reaction like that. I didn't realize that at the time. I figured that out later. But figuring all that out's hard. They will tell you. Well, in my case, the doctors told me just don't try to figure it out because you won't. And I'm not saying I did. I have no idea why I break out, other than my immune system isn't happy. It's not what it should be, so it attacks itself. Now, um, it's uncomfortable. I'm scratching right now because I have eczema which I think is another autoimmune disease. And I'm hoping the that will clear up when it gets a little bit warmer weather. I've heard eczema's bad in the winter months, and it's February right now. But anyway, as far as the hives go, write, make notes if you have time to, what you eat, what you're taking. Pay attention. I didn't know so many products that weren't antihistamines contain antihistamines. I found that out and dealing with it because I started getting heartburn. So I'd take Pepsi. I'd break out all over my trunk area, my chest, my back. That's the only time I would do that is when I would take a heartburn type medicine like Pepsi. Very uncomfortable, very itchy. If I take ibuprofen, I would hurt. Thankfully, the dermatologist did inform me do not take ibuprofen. But prior to going to see him, I was taking it for pain and making things worse. So each little thing you figure out will help. Might not cure you, but it will help. Uh, Antibiotics or another. Not that I like taking them. Try to avoid them now. Uh, was trying to avoid them then um, because I'd been, I think, overprescribed, especially Levaquin. I think Levaquin's caused a lot of this problem. Um, but like I took a sulfameth for a bad infection in 2011, and that was terrible. And you have to keep in mind too, you might take it for. I took almost the full course of that before I ever had a reaction. I had like 2 pills left, and it was terrible. I broke out and was in so much pain. My blood pressure shot up. Uh, they had to prescribe me prednisone, and then that was making my chest tight and my chest hurt. So, it was very bad, very, feel horrible. Um, so, just have to be cautious. So, anytime, like, thankfully, early on in 2000, when this happened, it was like October 2009. I decided to have food allergy tests, so I had to stop all antihistamines. And I figured out from doing that, I stopped breaking out. So that told me the antihistamines were actually breaking me out. Although most doctors don't believe that, if I take an Allegra, which I used to take all the time, I will break out. Don't take it, I don't break out. So now I do, or I did at the time, figure out I could take like Benadryl or like chlorotrimazole, the ones that don't stay in your system but 4 to 6 hours, then it wasn't that bad. But if you take a 24-hour antihistamine, oh my gosh, you're itchy for 24 hours. So that's how it was for me. It's different for everybody. But I did write down a lot of notes, handwritten notes like I have here of my hands was really itchy. I had neck pain uh, when I had a breakout. What doctors I was going to, and I ended up. I think when I first got diagnosed or was first dealing with this, I was sick. I had the flu, and then I had the swelling issue when I took some medicine doctor prescribed me, and then I got the flu again. Uh, so that was just all because my immune system, I think, was a little compromised at the time. And the heartburn I never really had until I started dealing with the hives. But thankfully now, the heartburn I don't get like I did. Uh, and the hive type breakouts, as long, in my case, it was more than just, if I took something or ate something. It was also if I got too hot, if I got too stressed, um, and oh yeah, clothes like bras, underwear being tight makes really irritated skin. Um, so that was actually better up until this winter when the eczema. I think it's probably a combination of both, I guess, eczema and the hives. Because I know I had problems with like bra straps and stuff really bothering my skin, being if it's too tight. So I've been like wearing really loose clothes and stuff this winter because the tight anything. I mean, when I say tight, just if it fits normal. If it's just a little pressure, I have to wear clothes that are like actually baggy. The clothes I wore when I weighed 20 pounds more. It's basically what I've worn a lot this winter. So it may not look good, but it's more comfortable. So you have to sometimes be comfortable. Uh, especially if you have a job and you're going to work and you're in those clothes for 8, 9 hours. Um, because it's not easy. If you're uncomfortable for 9 hours sitting at a desk. But that was my first autoimmune disease that I knew I had. Uh, but I did in 2015. I did get diagnosed with areata, alopecia areata, which was where you can lose hair. So I had a bald spot on the left side of my head. I did use essential oils. And I did a cleanse detox program and changed how I ate, and my hair did grow back. And I think it's fine now. Although some days when I wash my hair and stuff, I'm like a little concerned. But um, I think it's okay. But I'm gonna probably just start using the essential oils on my scalp again that I mixed up at the time. Um, and then, like I said, this winter I think eczema's been an issue for me, and I think that's autoimmune too, or maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But it's a skin issue, and I have skin issues, but I know I need to also work on my stress level to help with all that. And it's been a very stressful 2016 with my mom dying, my dog dying, and my nephew dying around November last year unexpectedly in a car wreck. Um, so, there's just stresses, dealing with all that. Um, and finally, the other autoimmune disease that I'm pretty sure I've had probably longer than the others, I just didn't know what it was the Raynaud's disease. I know it's disease and then there's a phenomenon. I'm not sure which it is, but and maybe it's tied to the hives. I don't know, but periodically parts of me could be my hand, uh, both hands, one hand, could be my ears, could be one of my feet, my toes. Will either get really, really red, or maybe two fingers that get really, really hot, and one finger really, really cold. It's like weird circulation issues. Um, it kind of sounds like that when I looked it up in the past. So it's not a thing that happens all the time. And lately, it's mainly like my hands just go bright red, uh, or my ears. But sometimes it'll be all my fingers might be bright red, but this one might be ice cold. And I've had that for a long time, but it's not something that happens every day. It's just every now and then. Um, and I know that actually happened probably was going on when I was around 19 because I told an allergy doctor I saw at the time about it. Didn't know, have a clue what it was, but now I've read about that Raynaud's disease, and I said, well, this kind of sounds like it. But I've not been diagnosed with that or anything. And um, I think that's all about the autoimmune diseases. But if anybody, is dealing with hives or eczema, I don't really know a lot about the eczema other than what I'm currently doing myself and trying to figure out if it's going to help. But just feel free to comment below or email me. And please like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for listening.